Jake, it finally happened. And I apologize. It was definitely all my fault. We are live. We have a great guest coming on tonight, Jake. Do you know who it is?
Yes, Adam. I believe everyone knows who we have in the house, Mr. Mogollon.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oops, he's right there. I didn't even know it. He's right there. Mogs, how you doing, my friend?
I hear you. I'm doing good, guys. How you guys doing?
Well, we're doing great. Jake's probably got a bead of sweat running up and down those stairs the way he's been.
Oh, bud. It's been nonstop for the last 15 minutes trying to get these pewter webs to work.
Oh, man. These COVID times. We're going to do a mic check right now. Microphone check.
Check.
Jake?
Jack, I just got to do a little... I'm checking on the pewter webs.
It's looking now. This isn't normally what we do. We had a little bit of a snafu in the beginning. Normally we get on and we do it a little bit different. But in these COVID times, we do things a little bit different. Off the cuff, just freestyle, so to speak. Right now, I'm just going to give a couple shout outs to the people that were patient enough in the chat room to stay with us. We have Chris Jarvis. Ruger Ridge is still here. Exploding Monkey Vomit.
Hey.
And that looks about it. But you know what? I'm glad these guys are here. I'm glad they're here, and I'm glad they're going to be participating in a live show that we have with a very awesome guest, very friendly, awesome guest, Mr. Mogollon Monster. Thank you for joining us on Mountain Stream.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Hey, let's give him a big round of applause.
Hey.
Golf clap. Jake, I have to give you credit, man. Your promo today, that was a pisser. That was awesome. I laughed my ass off. I didn't realize it at first until I saw the bandana. I'm like, that was awesome.
Good stuff. So, Mr. Mogollon Monster, WTF, my friend? WTF? I just want to know personally.
You know, I got into this. I stumbled across Sasquatch Chronicles and started listening to those and just got hooked on it and realized that, you know, there's something going on out there. Everybody can't be lying. You know, my experiences are with the paranormal, nothing Bigfoot. And, you know, just I felt that everybody that, you know, you see all these people in chat every night, that there's got to be a reason why they're there every night. So that's what why I started the show, was for people in chat and whoever wanted to, you know, tell me their story. You know, I got a lot of good responses, some good guests. It's funny you mentioned, you know, Ruger. I just talked to him last night. Chris Jarvis, I've been on the phone with, not phone, but you know, MeWe for like days, and we just BS back and forth. You know, so it's good to see these guys showing up.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't realize the impact that this would have on people when I started it, as far as, you know, being able to come on and tell your story, you know, the getting it off your chest part and the therapy part of it. You know, I didn't consider that at first. And then once it, you know, I realized that it was even more motivation to do this, you know, to help people, you know, giving people a place to just unload, you know, and tell their stories. Because there's so many people out there that don't, you know, they'll carry it around for all their life. They'll never, you know, say they saw Bigfoot just because of the ridicule. No one's going to believe them. But, you know, there is a community out there that will believe them. So hopefully, you know, we'll get more people that'll take advantage of it and get it off their chest. You know, and I'm glad I can, you know, give that platform for people to do that.
That's excellent. Makes me think, you know, give big props to like the pioneers, the Wes Germers, and the
Absolutely
Vic Cundiffs, and the gentleman who passed away last year. He had Mysteries of Search there. Brenton Sawn. I listened to his show quite a bit too. Yeah, those guys really made it a platform. People could do something where they never were given the chance to before in a no, you know, they don't no pointing fingers environment.
And
everybody's
it's a
the same.
judgment-free environment, and that's
what I
the
meant
way
to
it
say,
should be.
yeah.
You know, if someone's going to go on a show and they're going to get laughed at or ridiculed or just somebody making wise ass remarks to them or not believing them, then don't bother going on the show. You know,
Mhm.
this way they can, and I'm not going to judge. Micah Patrick is a big supporter, and he's been on my show 3 times, and he'll tell you that it's a release. He's thankful that he was able to come on my show and share and get it off his chest. So and that thrills me.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's
it is
great.
a relief. Excuse me. It is a relief for sure. Getting a sounding board from someone who's not going to be judgmental. Just a side note. So would you call Wes Germer a gateway drug into the Sasquatch then? I mean, he kind of drew everybody in, right? He's the obligatory black hole in the Bigfoot community. But,
Yeah, I hear that a lot. Even like Brent Thomas, Paranormal Portal, says that he kind of his show was kind of based on Sasquatch Chronicles as far as the style or the format. I guess you would call it format, but he does give a lot of credit to Wes, and Wes. It's the way he does it is, and all the shows he's had, he is a pioneer in this field. I give him credit. I give Brent credit and everybody that does this.
Mhm.
Giving people that outlet. I think it's great.
It is. I know after we created BLB, but just before we started doing the BLB, when we had some encounters that we couldn't really understand, unexplainables happening in our neck of the woods that were, kind of making us go, all the time. That's when we started just looking up random things on the internet about Bigfoot and just trying to educate ourselves about it. And that's when we came across Bigfoot Eyewitness Radio, and you're on there, and then you go from as YouTube's doing its thing, it goes from one thing to the next, and the next thing you know, you're listening to the Sasquatch Chronicles, and I was like, this is pretty cool. Sasquatch Chronicles is real cool, and it's just like listening to all these amazing, fascinating stories of these eyewitnesses tell their story. It's just, as well as I do, it's just an amazing thing. It's a good way to pass the time, and it's just. It gets
and you learn a lot,
Yeah.
After hearing all this, all these different stories, there's so many similarities in them, and you have to learn. If you're paying attention, you'll learn something. Just mannerisms, characteristics, or whatever, however you want to. What's the word?
Patterns, see the code, see the similarities.
Yeah. And there's so many, and so I'm sure there's some BS stories that get through, but I think for the most part everybody's telling the truth.
Yeah, me too.
If you do your job and you vet somebody, in their case, like I talk before, I talk to my guests beforehand, week before or whatever, and get a feel for them. And I've only had a few guests, and I don't think any of them have lied. I value my guests, and I thank my guests for coming on and sharing, and it's a good thing.
By the sounds of the people on your show, you can hear quivers in their voice when they're saying things that are difficult to talk about. You can hear them a little shaky in the the energy in their voice and the way they're talking. It's quite fascinating. So why the fascination? Let me just put this out here. Is this how you want people to get a hold of you if they want to be on your show, Mr. Mogs?
Yeah, that's the best way to contact me.
Okay, great. And anybody who hasn't checked it out yet, go to Mogollon Monster on YouTube, and then also, guys, Mogollon Monsters on Facebook. and check out what's going on there. And he's got the show WTF, Why the Fascination, on the YouTube channel. And the shows can be at all sorts of different lengths, so you can hear different styles of things, different lengths of shows. It's a definite good thing to listen to. So go ahead and check them out. If you like them, why not hit that button? Why not hit that subscribe button so you know what the heck's going on with this next thing coming up there. So again, just really good to have you on the show. Jake, you had a couple questions we were talking about earlier.
Man,
for our guest here.
Yeah, sorry about the difficulties.
No worries.
What's that again, Adam?
Those questions you were not the rapids, but the other questions that you were talking about earlier today when we found out that we were going to be so lucky to have them on our show. Because we have been trying to get you on the show, and when I think it was a family matter last time.
Yeah.
My brother came up out of town.
Oh, you mean paying for the background check on that website?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Not only that, or you mean the some of the similarities, or some of well, we were talking about listening to some of your shows, doing what we call the homework before, some patterns and things that we kind of, this all started at an earlier age, and for a few of your guests, maybe I think it was Mr. Terry started when he was 5, and myself having, right around that age, I'm starting to think, maybe there's that kind, when something like that lands close to home, as far as maybe an out of body experience, or, you falling out of yourself, and just, things like that, when things like that, what's that all about? That kind of is.
Well, it opens your eyes, and makes you realize at a young age that there are other things out there. And maybe at that age, you might not realize that it's unusual. And it wasn't until later on in life that I realized that certain things were happening that had happened throughout my life. I realized that they were happening at a younger age, but I didn't realize it until later on. It answered some questions when I realized what was going on in my life, that it actually happened earlier on in life. If that makes sense.
Sure. I know that a lot of things that, when you're a child and you don't know exactly what the truth could be, and, your mind is developing, you don't know a lot of things that are out there. And so things that might be completely weird, you might just think of as, oh, that's just another thing in the world. And, as you're a young kid, you start, seeing this or that, not giving very, very good description of, things going on. But a lot of this stuff, especially for children, can just be brushed off as just another thing that's supposed to be there when it's really not, or maybe it is. Who are we to say?
If it's there, then more than likely it's supposed to be there. It's like we ignore it later on in life. We set these rules, or whatever you want to call them, that's calls it supernatural, when maybe it is just natural, and we forgot. I've thought that for a long time, that, and as an adult, I would look back and I feel like I forgot something from when I was a kid. There's something missing. I don't know if it's the innocence or whatever it is, but there just seems to be something missing that I think all adults forgot. Mm-hmm. We knew something more when we were a child.
I try to stay in tune with that myself. I mean, as much as I can, much as I can still grasp whatever I can of it still. I've always been looked at as an immature fool by a lot of the, especially when you're younger and you're becoming into your 20s, and everybody else is starting to want to be an adult and be cool and this and that. I just went my own way and did my own thing, and I'm glad I did, because it's I want to hold on to as much of that childhood, whatever you call it, what you're talking about, magic. Let's call it magic.
Sure. And I don't think anybody ever really grows up. I mean, there's always a little, bit of child in all of us,
Mm-hmm.
and there should be.
Absolutely.
I had one thing happen. Kids say the darndest things, and one of the kids at school said, Daddy said Jake don't grow up yet, which is awesome, Daddy said Jake don't grow up yet.
Let's talk about the Mogollon monster. Okay. You grew up in New Jersey, is that right?
Correct.
And then you traveled out. And when did you move? When did you decide to move to Arizona?
10 years ago.
10 years ago. Now, did you go right up? You're near Flagstaff. Is that where you're at now?
I'm just a little southwest of Sedona.
Southwest of Sedona.
And Sedona is just an hour south, almost directly south of Flag.
Yeah. Okay.
Geographically, we're like the center of the state.
Okay. Well, looking at this here, if anybody can see that, there's an outline there. You can't see much of it, but you're almost right in the middle of things, right there at the where it says Mogollon Rim there. How long is the Mogollon Rim? Do you know how long that thing is? It's pretty vast, huh?
Yeah, it's geez, I'm not exactly sure. I don't know.
It goes through a lot of the state.
Yeah, and it covers the north, the eastern part of the state, and even part of New Mexico. I was just up there last week. I was up on the rim. My dad and I went up there camping. I hooked up with Kevin Keeney, who is Arizona Squatch. I met with him. He's a researcher. He's been on a few different shows, and he puts videos out. And I got to interview him, and it was really nice meeting him. And Chuck Jacobs is with the BFRO. He was there, so it was good to get out there in the field and meet these people. We really went to camp and fish, and based on my invite from Kevin to come up there. And it was really interesting. And, I'm going to have hopefully tomorrow I'll get a new show out, cool. with him on it.
Very cool.
Yeah. And let's see what else is going on this weekend. I have a new roommate moving in, this is kind of funny because I've known this guy for like 10 years since I moved out here. And we've worked together. We've hung out and fished and camped and whatever. And then, we kind of didn't see each other for a while. And we just recently got back in touch, and I saw he was looking for a place to stay, and I told him about my channel, and he's like, "Well, you should interview me." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Well, I've been squatching for like 10 years." I said, "I've known you for 10 years. How do I, why don't I know this?" And he was just like, "Well, it's kind of, when you tell people that, they kind of frown on it, or they, you know how it is. Being ridiculed or whatever for something that you're going against the norm."
Keeps us up at night.
Sure does, Jake.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty cool that he's going to be moving in this weekend, and he's got this. He's been squatching for 10 years.
Awesome. Very, very cool.
Wicked.
That sounds exciting. I just wanted to go over a couple photos here. I found what I think is a convincing photo of the Mogollon monster online today. I just wanted to share it with the crowd. Is this what you think he looks like?
Probably not.
What do you think of that, Jake?
Is that Dave?
And just for people who haven't been out to that area, I'll just show a couple other pictures. It's a really beautiful piece of land that goes on. It's not the best quality picture, but you can see the rim there. I have driven up and around through it. It goes through Payson. Does it go through Payson too?
It does.
It's huge. It's a huge thing. You can see in this picture, this is from Google Earth. You can see this big, what looks like a clearing down in there, a lowland, and then you can see all the green ponderosa pine up growing all around it. and that's on a big ridge. It's just an amazing God's country.
And that's
out
the
there.
largest stand of ponderosa pines in the world. It goes into New Mexico. Yeah. And it's just, there's miles and miles and miles of trails, Forest Service roads. It's just gorgeous. If, people, I think, have this idea of Arizona being desert. And I had this discussion with somebody last night, and I had to show them pictures to go like, it's not just desert.
Yeah.
There's more mountains I think there's more mountain peaks in Arizona than any other state, except maybe Alaska.
Yeah.
Phoenix is in the Valley of the Sun. You can't have a valley without mountains.
Yeah. Yeah, it's God's country. I have family out there, and we travel up and around Flag and up through Payson and down into the lowlands too, and have fun down there. And when it's not summertime and stuff, but it's amazing country. When you think about the energies that are always, talked about around the Sedona region.
Yeah.
With what they call their vortexes.
And
whatever you want to call it. I think it might be geomagnetic. I'm not sure what it is,
or ley lines or
something.
Yeah,
it's something. I've felt it strongly on more than one occasion going through that area, where it almost made me feel a little bit sick, where I had to get out of there. And
I think you told me that one time.
Yeah, when we left, it was like me and my sister looked right at each other, and we're like, at the same time, we're just driving on the road, and then all of a sudden, once that feeling just went and was gone, we both just went, it's gone, and we're like, yeah, it's gone. It's fun. Weird stuff. So what are you doing up there? Are you still doing this stuff, Mogs, with the
I
ATVs?
am. Yeah. I'm a subcontractor, so it's like a 1099 thing. They closed down for a while. They just reopened, but I'm just waiting to get called back. So in the meantime, I'm just hanging out.
Yeah, we're doing piecemeal work here and there when we can, right, Jake?
Yep, getting some gardening done. Checking out.
Yeah, I was surprised at your gardening skills. I was impressed, and I was also, glad to see you guys recycle all those used beer pong cups, for your plants.
It's important, and then they get recycled again.
Right on.
Yeah.
Some of those red Solo cups have like 4 different things of crossed out stuff on them. I did that for a long time, and then I just realized I'm a painter. Just throw a piece of painter's tape on there and write on it, and then throw another piece of painter's tape on there. Get it going like that.
Recycle, rethink, reuse all the time.
Absolutely.
Reduce.
Yeah, we're greeners, tree huggers.
Now, so as far as up in the area that you're in, have you talked to any of like the locals or any natives up in that area that have had like, is there talk generally about Squatch and whatnot? Because around here there really isn't, but we know that it's around here. We know people are just keeping their lips shut.
Recently, I was talking to a gentleman who lived up on the Navajo reservation. And the thing about that is certain things you can only talk about certain things during certain seasons. Like with the Navajo, the only time you're supposed to talk about it, if you talk about it, is during the winter. During the cold months, you can talk about Sasquatch. And I even brought that up to him. I said, you ever see anything weird up there? And he was like, yeah, we see a lot of strange stuff up there all the time. Be it skinwalkers, Sasquatch. Somebody I talked to kind of freaked me out when they said it was talking about giant spiders. I don't know. I don't even want to go there. But yeah, I'm, doing what I do. Since it's a tourist town, there's people from all over the world, and I kind of feel people out. I would get them at the end of their ride. They'd rent their vehicle, they'd go out, do their 4 hours, come back. And then it was my turn to talk to them. Hey, you guys have a great time out there, and blah, blah, blah. Where are you from? And I'd always feel them out. And if the guy was a hunter, or a fisherman or spent a lot of time outdoors, I'd be like, hey, you ever see anything weird out there? And sometimes they're like, no, that doesn't exist. And other people are like, there's there was this time, and
Hmm.
it's and I'm never going to see these people again. So what they think of me asking that, it doesn't faze me in the least,
Hmm.
But you never know what you're going to get out of it. I could get the best story ever out of it. So yeah, I enjoy talking with the people, and hopefully getting potential stories.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. We don't get enough foot traffic in our area to talk to anybody like that, except maybe some campers here and there. But a lot of it's just locals. Jake and I know that the stories are out there. We know that people are seeing stuff. We hear things here and there, but a lot of people around here, because it's a small town,
Sure.
and they don't want, one person doesn't want somebody else saying this and that, and then the next thing you know is, well, what's his name's batshit crazy. He keeps saying he saw Sasquatch, and then you get other people like one of our guests, Barb Hotas, who's like, I don't care what anybody says. I really don't care. I saw what I saw. You guys want to put it on your show? Great. I'd love to tell my story to you guys. And the lady's just, she doesn't care, and she's honest, and she doesn't do drugs or alcohol. Hasn't for a long, long time.
Well,
And
Yeah.
very cool lady.
Sweetheart.
that's awesome, and it's good that people are willing to tell their truths and not give a shit. And it should be that way. I don't care what people think as far as Mo believes this and Mo believes that. So what? It's my belief. You don't believe it? Don't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. To each his own.
And we've had other witnesses who told their story, but this person didn't want their name out there. Said you can't reveal really close 6 miles down the road, triangulating, right in that zone. Anyway, depending on who you get. But why do you think some people can see the signs and some people can't see the signs? It's like, what is that, Gene? Do you think?
I just think people are more open to it. There are closed-minded people that aren't going to see something unless it smacks them in the face. But then there's other people that see those little things, that pay attention, those little serendipitous things, or just that pay attention, and that's what it's about, is paying attention and being open to it and realizing, well, maybe there is something going on, or you believe in God, why not believe in something else, or have a good idea about something else, So, my experiences, like I said, were paranormal. So I know that things exist there. So why wouldn't I believe in something that's flesh and blood? That is just
Makes sense.
Speaking on that topic, there's a lot of debate out there about what Sasquatch is. It's one of Wes Germer's favorite questions to ask
Sure.
at the end of the interview. Well, no, tell me, Mo,
There's no right or wrong answer.
There's no right or wrong answer. What do you think Sasquatch is? And there's no right or wrong answer. What do you think?
It's a tough question. I do believe it's a flesh and blood creature that may have capabilities that we don't. I believe they probably have. You hear about mind speak, and I know that exists. I've experienced it with people, not a Sasquatch, but with people. I've had telepathy things happen.
Mm-hmm.
As far as them cloaking, or whatever you want to call it, I'm not sure. When I release this video, I believe Kevin explains, because that's how he sees them a lot of times, is in that cloaking phase, or dark shadows, or
Predator.
Sort of, yeah. And it's just an odd. It's one of those, it's not in your paradigm to think that way. Go, that's Hollywood, or but why not? I think they're capable of things that we just can't explain.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a flesh and blood creature with some extra capabilities.
With some wizard shit mixed in. Would you say
Ruger.
some wizard shit? Because I think that's what I think. I mean, I've given it a lot of thought, as all of us have, and I mean, just the different types of sightings, the different experiences people have with all of this crazy other stuff, with footprints stopping, with mind speak stuff, with the cloaking, with the thing that gets me is why don't we have better evidence? These things are out there. We know they're out there for all the different eyewitness testimonials that are out. We know these things are out there, but why can't we get one? Why can't we prove it?
My opinion is I believe that they do bury their dead. I think they're social that way, being family oriented, and they know that they want to remain hidden. They don't need us for anything.
No.
So the less evidence, the better. And I think they realize that, and they do bury their dead and just do their best to stay the hell out of our way.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you?
Oh yeah.
Humans suck. I mean, we just destroy everything in our path.
It's just the truth of it.
Don't poop where you eat, my friend.
What do you think about? Do you think that if they are indeed, and they probably are, a flesh and blood creature like that, deforestation and logging that must greatly impact their living, right?
Absolutely. Well, yeah. You take away their environment, we're encroaching on their environment. So obviously there are going to be more sightings. They can only go so far. You only get to a middle of some point, and then you're going out the other side. So I think that, and I think that's one of the reasons why, there hasn't been a disclosure on these, because the economic impact that it would have on the logging companies and the outdoor activities and camping and all that stuff, it would just devastate it. All the tree huggers. I mean, look at what they do to close down a forest for a spotted owl. Mm-hmm. Not saying that's a bad thing, but as an example, that's what would happen.
Sure.
It would just, it would be economically a disaster, and the government's not going to allow that.
Jake,
inside job. Jeez Louise.
Yeah, well, what do you think there, Jake? I know you're biting at the chomp there.
Well, a little bit. Some of the things. How isn't it funny how it's always hindsight and after the fact, and not funny, haha, but funny maybe peculiar. How, for instance, myself had some kind of incident. The year was 2010. Adam and I, we started doing paranormal stuff 2013, then BLB 2014, and then it wasn't until 2016 that I thought, oh, what about that 2010 job? And so it fell in way after the fact. Even after we were squatching for a couple of years, I'm like, like a repressed memory or some kind of, because in that instance it was a fight or flight, and take off after being like you, standing up and calling out like a tough guy. I had all these I got these beer muscles on, quote unquote, not really, but I called it out, and another rock with a bigger splash happened. So anyway, I know that, and I didn't put it together. I didn't see it, and all these other, I will say, childhood out of body experiences, like during a migraine when I was 5 years old, or seeing halos or shadows around people, kind of auras maybe, but short-lived, like my asthma, thank goodness. It grew out of childhood kind of, but repressed and forgotten until long years later, and you start looking back at, oh, what about these little skipping stones through time, some of them traumatic events, others not, maybe, I don't know if that has anything to do.
Yeah, I hear that a lot, as far as, people who, after they've had the experience of like a Sasquatch encounter, where then they look back and go, well, wait a minute. All these years when I was hunting in the spot, all this, Kerry Arnold said the same thing, all these things that you wrote off and just didn't pay attention to that were odd when you were out in the woods. But Sasquatch was the furthest thing from your mind, so you didn't give it any credence until after the fact, and you've had the experience, and then you reflect on it and you're like, I wonder.
They were going live the whole time, right around you, trying to get your attention, knocking at the door. You didn't have the eyes to see at the time. I don't know. What's the trigger? What's the switch? What's the recipe?
Mogs, there's more and more sightings. There's more and more people being okay with telling their stories. And I think there's more people seeing these things. I think that all of this stuff is going to hit an apex. It just seems like it. And I'm wondering, is it because of the population growth? Is it because more and more people nowadays have a camera just on their bodies all the time, and they're out there, and they can look stuff up, they can be on the internet, and they can wonder if they want to be a squatcher. There's all these shows on TV. It's kind of like in your face way more than ever.
Well,
and what's going on?
I don't like the only thing I like about the reality TV is that it does bring to, people's attention the fact that these things might be out there. It keeps it in the forefront. If those didn't exist, it would just be, there would be more skepticism than there already is. This kind of opens people's eyes a little bit and makes them see that, hey, there is something going on out there. The shows themselves, I could care less about. I think they're a joke. It's more entertainment than actual research. Once you get a network involved, it's entertainment.
Well, it's the mighty dollar at that point.
Absolutely,
that's all there is to it. It's whatever. I like your take on it, though. At least it's getting it out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's interesting. Very interesting. Friend of ours is going to hopefully be on a reality TV show that might be one of the cooler ones. It's called Alone. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
It's a show where people go out and they have to just survive. It's kind of like Survivor Man, whatever. I don't even know what that is, but something where they get dropped off in the wilderness and they have to live off the land with like 10 items or something. Whoever lives out there the longest is the winner. There's been a couple seasons. I've been checking it out a little bit. It's pretty neat.
Yeah. Adam, FYI, we're up to the Flesh and Blood. That's 6 for Camp Flesh and Blood and 4 for Camp Woo. Just to keep it, not like we're keeping score, but we are kind of keeping.
But you are.
No, I'm well aware, Jake.
So 10, it's kind of neck and neck, but geez Louise, I don't know. I keep riding the fence this way, that way, and this.
Yeah,
I mean,
Jake, in this day and age, especially in these COVID times that we're going through right now, kind of makes you see clearer. You don't get the normal tunnel vision you might used to. You have more time to reflect, to think about things, and do some good old armchair research and get down to the truth. And speaking of the truth, I know that around this part of the show, we do a little fun game. We send our guests down the rapids.
What?
And we shoot the Narrows. You shoot the Narrows.
Already?
Through a series of rapid fire questions. We put you in the hot seat, and we're gonna do it, Mogs. And I hope you're game to have fun with us on this one.
Sure.
You would like to do it?
Yeah, I actually helped you guys come up with some questions when you guys had Brent on.
Oh, nice. So then you know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just see here. Okay. And then I go to this, and then I have to reset. I just got to write this down. Our last guest did this in a record time of 1 minute, 33 seconds, and 63 tenths. And that was Leon from Bigfoot Okanagan. He had probably some of the best answers I've seen. It might have taken him a little while to navigate through the rapids, but he did it in high class fashion. You did a really good job. I'm just going to reset that. Put this
Put
on
Okanagan?
So the way this works is Jake reads out the questions. I just run the clock. That's it.
Oh, man.
It's
Yeah. It's kind of free association style. Don't get hung up. There's only one question. You'll have to do math. Just do a ballpark. Give us your best guess, kind of, you know. It's kind of laid back. You know the drill. Sort of, kind of, not really.
Kind of, sort of. Except this time, it's you.
Good.
I always get so nervous.
This is where we say this. Okay. Well, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. When I say go, it's time to go. All right. Now, Mogs, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Jake, are you ready?
The 100 people survey, top 5 answers on the board.
Jake, are you ready?
I'm ready, Adam.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, go.
Analog or digital?
Digital.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Nah.
Did you buy the clock behind you?
No.
How long to drive to Flagstaff?
Hour.
Do you love avocados?
Yeah, I do actually.
Steve Earle or Tom Waits?
Waits.
Can you channel the Fonz?
No.
Have you ever dated a vegan?
No.
Do you have a drawer just for your bandanas?
No.
Sedona or Vegas, baby?
Sedona.
Bam, over, done.
Ooh, guys,
Oh, smoking hot.
the clock don't lie.
Jeez.
Imagine if it was 34-34. But anyway, it's not. It's 34-33. That, I have to say, was again. I say this to all the guests because they're all so great. But that was one of the best rapids I think I've ever witnessed, Jake.
Boy, flawless through those. You know,
bad ass. Do you love avocados? Actually, yes, I do.
Yeah, I do.
Man,
I do. That's good.
Unapologetic.
That's so good for you.
So when Jake was gonna say when he said and I thought about this just last second when he said, "Do you channel the Fonz?" I thought you were gonna go, "Hey."
I didn't want to jump the shark.
That was a good rapids. Thanks for playing along with us.
Pleasure.
It's always fun. I want to talk more about the paranormal stuff, though. I know that on your channel, there's a lot of stuff that is definitely more geared toward paranormal than Bigfoot on there that I've seen.
Well, that seems to be more of what I get.
Yeah. And, you know, without going too deeply into it, I do want to talk to, especially there's people out there that may be listening to our channel that might not know who you are. And you have a couple pretty cool stories of things that happened to you. And if you can just pick any, I don't care, whatever one you want to talk about, something that is cool or not so cool, just something that you're comfortable and want to talk about.
They've all been pretty cool, except the one time where I got scared crapless. I was living in a house that apparently was haunted, and I knew the people who were haunting it. I knew them when they were alive, and they were killed in the house a few years before I moved in. And I was just taking care of the house for a friend for a while. And I saw an orb, you know, that didn't bother me. I was sleeping and woke up, and because their dog was in the room, and I said, you know, knock it off. And this orb comes out of the bathroom and went in front of the bed. And I just saw it. It faded away and rolled over and went back to bed. But then another time I was downstairs and I got a feeling that there was something in the living room, but I couldn't see anything. And when I approached the living room door, I just got scared. I mean, I got so scared that I got mad. I got pissed and just started yelling at it. Mm-hmm. You know, that's how I responded. I was so, you know, primal fear, if you want to call it that I got pissed off. But everything else has been pretty cool, you know, interesting occurrences. I know 2 of them were my mom, you know, the day she passed away. And then, you know, it's funny you mentioned 2010. That was my second incident where she made her presence known. And it's kind of weird. I realized yesterday or last night that, and I was talking to somebody about this, a lot of my guests, I don't know if and it's going to sound weird, but I don't know if my mother is bringing me these guests because there's so many similarities that between that that like Patron bottles. The one guest, when his brother was cremated, he put him in Patron bottles, two Patron bottles on his shelf, just so one could go to his another family member or whatever. And one of my stories is when my mother made her presence known, it was in a bar and it was just me and the bartender, and a cork flew out of a Patron bottle. There was something else I'm trying to remember, but there were a few similarities where I realized it last night, where I was like, what the hell is going on here? These people that are coming to me and they tell me their story, I can relate, and there's similar, just little things, that coincidences, whatever you want to call it. It's really weird.
Yeah. Patron is delicious. Yeah, we love Patron, don't we, Adam?
Of course we do, Jake.
Oh, sorry. I don't drink tequila much, but when I do, geez Louise, come on.
Yeah, I don't drink it anymore. I don't drink anything anymore.
Yeah.
Surprised they made it this far.
Little nuances, the little subtleties of things that, like before we were talking, some people pick up on and some people don't pick up on it at all, or not much at all. That type of stuff is special, and certain people, I think, and this is just a guess, but I think that you inherit some of these insights or the way you perceive things. I know my mother is, geared more towards that type of stuff than my father, and I'm not saying anything. I'm glad I'm half of both of them, but I think my mother had a lot to do with the way I look at the world in a more anything is possible type of way, and just like anything can happen, and pay attention to these little things and that type of stuff.
Well, and like for another instance is like an upcoming guest going to have his younger experiences happen in Peoria, Illinois. My mom passed away in Peoria, Illinois, and that was where my first experience happened. So, to learn that, it was just like, what the hell is going on here? So it's a matter of paying attention.
Your mother's spirit, rest her soul, is saying, come here, you need to meet my boy over here. Come on, you gotta filter over here. She's channeling from the other side, putting the pegs in order, putting cogs that are
and I believe that 100%. The past 3 years, I quit drinking 3 years ago, and my eyes opened, and I realized that life was livable. I didn't have to hide in a bottle, and in the past 3 years, things have changed, and even recently in the past year, everything's lining up the way it should. Life is actually improving. It's awesome. I'm thrilled.
That's good. I'm thrilled for you too. That's amazing to hear when good things happen to good people and their lives work out the way they're supposed to, and
sure,
are happy and good. And I hope everybody that's worth it can find a little piece of that somewhere.
So do I. Absolutely. It's attainable. I mean, you just have to want it, and you have to work for it. It's not going to come to you. And I used to get that a lot, where I would procrastinate, and people tell you have to go look for a job. It's not going to come to you, or you have to go do this. It's not going to come to you. So, and that's what you have to do. Yeah. I feel for the people that have issues like addictions and stuff, because I've been there. I've done that for 30 years. I drank, and nothing good came of it. Mm-hmm. Quitting, best thing I could have done,
Good
and
for you.
Yeah. And I should be dead, but I'm not. So here I am.
Funny how that's another little link that all of us squatchers have in common, quote unquote, not just, but geez Louise, how many times did we escape you know, and I guess a lot of people can say they did crazy things in high school, but I mean, for real, a couple of those times, walk away clean. Geez, how'd we do it? Ah,
Yeah,
lots of
little much
angles.
of an angel. But what do you think, Mokes, about ghost dogs? If you had any experience or talked to anybody that's had any experience with like ghost animals or ghost pets, ghost dogs, anything like that?
I've heard stories, but nothing. No, like I haven't spoken to anybody about it. Like had one-on-one conversations with anything with anybody, but I've heard over the internet of little stories here and there.
Yeah.
Do you want to?
I have two dogs. One's getting older; she's 10. The other one's probably 4 or 5. And they're my kids. I won't move if I don't have to, just because of my dogs. They like it here. They're good here. And I'm sure, one day when I do lose them, I'd like to see them come back, or just rub up against my leg every once in a while just to let me know that they're there. I think that would be cool. They'll always be in my heart, so I'll always have the memories and stuff. But while they're here, I'm enjoying them and loving them, and they're awesome.
I've heard stories of people where they, and from not just on the internet, from friends of mine or people I'm talking to around a campfire where, something, it's a dog. You can tell it's a dog, comes walking into the, you can hear it coming up the hall on the hardwood floor. You can hear the nails
Click,
click,
click.
click,
Yeah.
click, click. Walks in, you can hear it breathing. Flip on the light, nothing there. It's like, this is from somebody who doesn't even have pets. I've heard that a couple different times from people, and it just makes me wonder. What is being a ghost, and are there ghosts in other realms of like living beings, like cats, and are there ghost fish? Are there ghost squatches? What the heck's the deal? Or is it just more tied to the human spirit more than anything else for some reason?
Well, that's like asking. Some people think that only humans have souls, and I don't believe that to be true. I mean, my dogs, I believe, have souls, and all animals. I think we're ignorant, or what's the word, to think that we're the only people that or beings that have a soul. Just like we're ignorant to think that we're the only intelligent life in the universe or galaxy or cosmos or whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's I don't know. It's a tough subject to really get into, but I do know there is something else after life.
I got one. You guys want to hear a ghost dog story?
Sure.
Yeah.
Happened a few years ago over at the other place. I think it's the ghost of my first dog, Kipper, Copernicus Deuteronomy Snacks. We were all on the couch, me, my better half, and our other 2 dogs at the time, Gracie Mae Denver, my Katie's soulmate dog, rest in peace, and Leviticus Galileo Calhoun. And they were both on the couch with us, and we were all nestled down for a long winter's nap. And wouldn't you know it, in the room above, right on the bed, both Kipper and Gracie used to look out the same window facing the road, watching for us to get home, blah, blah, blah. When we get home, they jump off the bed and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Kipper's leash, that jingle, bro, sitting right there, heard the dog, like the dog jump off the bed, heard like that, didn't hear any footsteps, but definitely heard the dog jump off the bed. And I'm like, wait a minute, look around, everyone's here, and that happened all the time. They're having tons.
That's cool.
Happened a lot, which is, yeah, I don't know. It's weird hearing the noise, not the footsteps, but
it's a noise you
recognize
and you're used to. So as soon as you heard it, you knew what it was. That's
yeah.
cool.
So and with all of our 5 dogs, we have all their leashes, but even like it's such a trigger sometimes. you know, you don't want to bring a tear to the eye, so you put a little tape around that collar to keep that leash from going tingle, you know.
Sure.
So, but anyway, when you hear that, I don't know. That's real life dog ghost stories, bro. What are you gonna do?
Gonna say, hey, Kipper, what's going on?
Hey, bud.
Yeah, at least
Anyway.
acknowledge it. My dad's had a lot of dogs throughout the years, and I've seen in the past 10 years, I think, you know, 3 of them I've seen pass, you know, and he keeps, you know, their ashes up on the mantle and their collars and their leashes hanging up. You know?
That's sweet.
Yeah. But I haven't lost a dog yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It stinks. It stinks, you know. One thing, yeah. Jeez Louise.
So let's talk about this quick, Mugs. Is this a product line?
It's not mine. Yeah, dude, it's like off a Teespring or something. I just saw the picture. I just wanted the picture, so I took a photo of it and put it up as like a a logo type deal. But yeah, it's not mine. It's just the picture I'm using. It is actually a sweatshirt.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love it. And what's that flag he's got there?
That's the Arizona state flag.
You see that around Arizona from time to time.
Yeah.
Awesome job. What's that? What is that?
You want to talk trademark? We can work out a little something. You know, we like art up here. We like art up here.
Great job,
guys. Thanks.
So Mugs, what's next on the list here for you on the channel, on the show? Do you have some people lined up to talk to, or?
Yeah. Again, I'm going to put out that show. I just I have to put the video together from last week. Gentleman, like I said, from Arizona Squatch. Been talking with some other people, and I've got some things lined up. I'm looking forward to doing, working with some people. And I just take it week by week as,
yeah.
And things are picking up, and it's, and it's just amazing because I'm like, I'm nobody. I'm just putting myself out there and giving, people a platform, and it's turning around, and I'm thrilled about it, and I'm lucky where I have people like you and Carrie and, who have taken an interest in me and invited me on their show. And a lot of people don't have that, that are just starting out. And I think it's because I spend so much time in chat, and I've gone to I've been doing this for a while now, and making myself known in chat. That now that I finally started doing this, people already know of me, and it's working out. It's just, and I'm having a ball, and that's what's good. Important is people are getting their stories out, and they're getting any help that I can provide by giving them that platform, and it's fun, and I'm meeting a lot of great people. I like Mike Kirkpatrick, for instance. I wouldn't hesitate to fly to Texas and go hang out with him. He's just cool as hell, great storyteller. Absolutely. But a genuinely good person. And it was weird because I was looking through my comments from, I guess it was his first story or something. And I didn't realize how many there were between him and other people, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I was like, go, Mike, that's awesome, dude. And he is cool. So, and people I'm meeting, be it in chat or guests or whatever, are just amazing people. If it wasn't for the internet, we wouldn't know each other. We wouldn't be talking right now. And it's such a weird topic, it's just quite unusual, the paranormal. But what else am I going to talk about? This is what fascinates me. Why the fascination? So, that's what you go with. You go with what you're gonna enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
How many hours a week are you putting in on the keyboards? Online, would you say? Ballpark, and a little further background. Now that we know you didn't buy that pool clock behind you, was it a gift or well, you got to tell us the story. Okay.
You know what? If the flag behind me was a gift, right now I'm in my spare bedroom because it's over 100 degrees out, and where I have my studio set up, it's not air conditioned. So I just pulled the flag off the wall, put it on the wall behind me. So I'm inside. I'm in air conditioning. But if you look at my backdrop in the videos, you'll see the flag. You'll see a calendar, the clock, and they were all gifts.
Nice.
The flag behind me, I was doing a job a few years back in Phoenix for a family friend that I've known since I was probably 11, 12. And she gave me the flag and wanted me to bring it to like the Legion or something, have it destroyed. And I was like, it's a brand new flag. So I kept it. So to me, that's a gift. The calendar somebody had sent me, a friend of mine. So that was a gift. The clock, somebody gave it to my dad and he didn't want it, so he gave it to me. If it's given to you, it's a gift. So yeah, everything. There's something else was a gift, but yeah, everything is a gift. So I think if
we're all kind of a collage of life, right? We take little things from it's like I'm the same way. Geez Louise, all these little things, I don't know where I pick them up all over the place.
It's just weird that you were saying that to me right now. I'm getting like kind of chills because I had my friend over the other day, helped him out with this project, and he was just like, yeah, everything in here is Bigfoot. And then he goes out to the truck. Oh, you got Bigfoot stuff everywhere. And I'm thinking, yeah, whatever. And then today, at some point during the day today, I was thinking about that and what he said. And I was like, yeah, he's right. But I didn't buy any of this stuff. None of it. I didn't buy any of it. It was all stuff that was either left on my doorstep or people putting it in the mail or this or that, the other thing. So it's like all these gifts, like just like what you're talking about. And it's like, that was like really in my brain earlier today. And now you're saying the exact same thing. And wow, it's like blowing my mind a little bit right now. It's cool.
Yeah, man.
Cool stuff.
What else? I think there was something else. I can't remember what else there was that was a gift. And it's funny that you brought that up because as I was putting everything up, I was like, wow, this is a gift. This is a gift. This is a gift. So for you to bring that up is pretty cool.
Cut from the same cloth.
Mm-hmm.
Big time. Which is nice. Sorry about you guys in the chat. I haven't seen the chat all night. Maybe once. Geez Louise. We love you guys.
Lots of good stuff in the chat. Well, Mr. Mogs, we just want to say thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
We got off to a little bit of a rough start, but pulled it together and had a real nice time with you. It's always a pleasure talking with you, be it here right now or in the chat rooms on different channels or live on somebody else's channel. Keep up the good work. We'll be checking you out. And again, anybody who wants to has a story that wants to communicate with Mogollon Monster,
Let
give
him
him
know.
an email. Shoot him an email. monstermogollon@gmail.com. And go ahead and check out that YouTube channel or Facebook, Mogollon Monsters, or the YouTube Mogollon Monster on YouTube.
And again, it is a judgment-free zone. It's not live. It's recorded, so there's no pressure. You can just relax and tell your story, and you don't have 1,000 eyes watching you or 100 or whatever. It's just take your time and tell your story and get it off your chest. And it's I think it's a good place to do it. And I'd love to hear the stories.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you for taking the time out of your day. What time is it there right now? It's
5:20.
Yeah.
No, thank you guys for having me on. I anytime, you guys, want to hang out, I'm here,
Awesome.
and I love doing this, and thanks for giving me the opportunity. Really.
The pleasure is all ours,
anytime.
my friend. Thank you again for taking out the time, and stay cool out there in AZ because it's probably getting hot out there right about now.
Yeah. Phoenix, I think today was about 110. It was about 102 here.
Yeah. We got up to 92 degrees yesterday. That was about enough. That's about perfect, I think.
Yeah, but you guys have the humidity. I don't have the humidity. It's probably 12% humidity here.
Yeah, it gets 100% here regularly. We like it.
I remember.
It's there right now. That's where we're at right now. It's like overcast and lots of humidity. But
I don't miss that.
Thunder boomers rolling through tomorrow afternoon. All tomorrow afternoon, supposedly they're saying that'll be fun.
Yeah, this is the beginning of our monsoon season, which is basically the whole summer. So you'll get pop-up storms, and it clouded up a little bit. I haven't been outside. I don't know what it looks like right now, but once it gets a little overcast, the temperature tends to drop. It dropped 5 degrees in like an hour, but then the sun comes out again, and it heats right back up.
Yeah,
but I love it out here. I love it out here.
It's beautiful country. I love it out there too. I love going to Arizona and exploring and checking out all the different types of plants and the different types of rocks and nature. And it's so different out there than here. It
seems everything out here is out to kill you.
Yeah, everything, every single tree, every single bush, every single
lizard, snake.
Thing,
they're
all nasty.
Mess you up.
Harsh environment, so that's a whole new breed of squatch. They gotta just love that dry heat out there. Huh. Wow.
So I'll be doing some more squatching in the future once my roommate moves in and like I said, I'm not a researcher, doesn't mean I can't be.
Sure.
I have the willingness and the drive to do it. I'll check it out if there's someone that wants to do it with me, because I'm not going to do it alone.
Well, we'd love to see some of your research or find out what's going on out there from a Mogollon monster perspective. That'd be amazing.
Crowdsource the squatch.
Right. Yeah. We'll hook up again in the future, and anything that I find, I'll put it out there.
Very good. Very good. Well, my man, again, thanks for coming on the Mountain Stream. And
my
Jake,
pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. Our pleasure. Thanks for letting us have a good night tonight. And Jeremy, you be good, and if you can't be good at it. Is that what you say?
It's right.
I've been saying that for years. That's awesome to hear that.
Awesome, gentlemen. Everybody out there in the YouTube lands and on the internet, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, be good. Right. You're going to have to go back a little ways. The rapids happened. He made it through. He was amazing.
Oh, my goodness.
Check it out. Go back and watch it over again there.
Wow.
Guys, thanks again. Check out the rapids. They're there. I don't know exactly what time they're in there, but check them out. It was fun. It was a good one.
Seeing the portal.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. And we'll catch you guys on the flip side.
See you soon.
Right on. Peace and hair grease, right, Jake?
Not if I see you first.
All right. Later.